All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Energize Your Life After 50. Hope you're doing great. Today, we're going to talk about the number one thing you must never do to lose weight. That's right, the number one thing you must never do to lose weight. But before I get to that, let me remind you that I've got some great resources for you. I've got, a series of 3 videos that I've put together on the top 3 things you must do to lose weight for the last time. The top 3 things you must do to lose weight for the last time. If weight is an issue for you, there's also a downloadable ebook that you can download after you watch the first video. So go to my website, personalfitness.com, and click on the link at the top of the page. That takes you there. Or you can click on the link in the show notes here. It will take you there. Also want to remind you that I've got my webinar, Get Your Sexy Back, that's ongoing. Again, you can find information at my website, personalfitness.com. Hope you're doing great out there. But today we're going to talk about, like I said, the number one thing you must never do to lose weight. And I've been talking about weight loss for the past few episodes because, of course, I'm launching my Weight Loss Made Easy program. It's a group coaching program. If you're interested in getting serious results, if you're interested in creating something permanent and getting serious results this year, then do join my Weight Loss Made Easy group coaching program. You can find information on it. You sign up for the free videos. The top 3 things that I do with my clients, those are the foundation for this group program. The 3 things I talk about in the free videos are the foundation, the 3 pillars, the 3 principles of Weight Loss Made Easy, because those are the top 3 principles I work with my private clients on. So it's the backbone of everything we do. And it's interesting because when I talk to people, I always hear, oh, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't think about that, because again, they're so used to being in the outdated diet mentality. Exercise and diet and exercise. Change up everything you eat. Cut out the things you eat. Cut out. And then work out. When, that is such an outdated way of thinking about creating permanent change. And it's a strategy that doesn't last because it's not motivating. Let me ask you this. What's going to motivate you more? Thinking about your weight and all the things you can't eat and how terrible things are? Or thinking about, well, who am I becoming? What is that future self that I'm creating? What is more motivating? Who you're becoming or what you lack? The body that you hate to be in. You look in the mirror and you see a body you don't like. Is that going to motivate you to do the things you need to do to change it over the long term? No, diets don't motivate. And beating yourself up in the gym rarely motivates unless you have a bigger picture, unless you have a reason why you're doing what you're doing. You have something that you're working towards. That's your motivating factor. Okay, so those are the things I talk about in the free videos. I recommend that you get them, and those are those will be the cornerstone for how I work with people in this new weight loss group, Weight Loss Made Easy. It's not about weight loss. It's about creating the best version of yourself. Creating the best version of yourself. That's what we're going to be focusing on. So today, let's talk about what is the number one thing you should never do to lose weight. Plain and simple, the number one thing you should never do to lose weight is to change up every bloody thing that you're eating all at once. To make this massive change and change up everything you're eating, right? You go from eating one way to all of a sudden you're eating a completely different way. You've cleaned out your cupboards. You've gotten rid of all the junk food that you've been eating. You're now on this completely healthy diet kick. My friends, you are setting yourself up to fail. Don't ever do that. You are setting yourself up to fail big time, because that doesn't work. You can't go from eating one way to all of a sudden you're doing something completely different. Here is why. Here's the number one reason why that doesn't work. Your brain is going to rebel against you. Your brain is eventually going to be working against you. And folks, if your brain is working against you, there's no way you can win, because your brain controls your biology. Your brain controls your hormones. Your brain can force you to do the things that you don't even want to do anymore. Why? Because that's what you have programmed it to do. Right? You can't get permanent results unless you're able to recruit your brain to change your biology. You have to bring your brain along. And here's the deal. Here's what happens, right? In the video, I talk about the fact that habits are created in your brain. Habits are created in your brain. Every habit starts as just a thought. And where do thoughts live? Thoughts live in your brain. So your habits are created in your brain. And here's why your brain create habits, right? Your brain is very reward centered. Your brain is reward centered. So your brain see that you're getting a reward from something that you're doing repeatedly over time. You do something repeatedly over time, believe me, it absolutely 100% will become a habit. Because that's how your brain develops habits. It sees that you're doing something repeatedly, which means you're getting something from it. It looks at the reward that you're getting, and it creates a habit around that reward. So that the routine, the thing you're doing that leading up to something, you don't do something unless you're getting something out of it. Whether you remember what the reward is, whether you remember what you're getting out of it, you're getting something out of everything you do. Because that's the reason why your brain develops habits. Your brain develops a habit loop around a reward, and that reward is the central part of that habit loop. That is why it is so difficult to change habits that no longer serve us, because we've done them so long, they've become a neurological circuit in the brain, right? They are hardwired in the brain. It's a circuit in the brain. And when you try to change habits, people try to change habits with willpower. It never works, because you can't break a neurological pattern with willpower. You have to go through the process of actually changing that habit loop, right? Looking at each part of that habit loop and changing that habit loop, reprogramming your brain. You can't do that through willpower. This is a brain process, right? You're looking at a circuit in your brain, a circuitry that is formed around each of these habits. So that is why you can't just go about the process of changing everything you've loved to eat, that you've been eating, because a lot of things you eat, you've developed a habit around eating them. Because it's not really what you eat, right? There's a reason why you eat. And a lot of us eat for not the main reason why we should be eating, right? Not because we're physically hungry. A lot of times, especially the women I talk to, they eat for a lot of different reasons. We do a lot of reward eating. We do a lot of pissed off eating. We do a lot of emotional eating. We do a lot of I just want to calm down eating, a lot of wind down eating, a lot of celebration eating. We eat for a lot of reasons. We eat because we see food. You might be at the office and they bring in bagels or donuts, and just because it's there, you walk in the cafeteria or the lunchroom and you see food, it makes you feel that you're hungry. You're going to eat something. You may not even be hungry. You walk down the street and you smell, buns from a bakery or something like that. It makes you think you're hungry. You walk in and you order something, right? You walk by Starbucks and you're not really hungry, but just the fact that it's there and you've developed the habit of going there, maybe the same times a day, well, that is going to push you to eat. So you see, there are a lot of reasons why we eat. And very rarely do we eat for the central reason why we're supposed to eat, and that is physical hunger. We eat for every other reason other than physical hunger. So we have trained the brain, we have programmed the brain, right, to develop habits around all these reasons why we eat. So it's not just the physical act of eating, it's the emotional part that goes along with why we eat, the thought process that drives that emotion, and the emotion drives the action of what we do. So until we change up the thoughts behind the actual act of eating, then there's no way of changing how that habit is held in the brain, is programmed in the brain. So when you go about the process of trying to change up what you eat all at once, eventually your brain is going to remember, hey, wait a minute here. You used to love, getting your Starbucks at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Every day you've done that for so long, and it made you feel good. There's a reward there. You got something out of it. You got this certain high out of it. Oh, wait a minute. You used to eat a bag of chips when you come home from work and you sat on the couch and you just want to wind down in a glass of wine. You used to do all these things, and now you're trying to change that from me. Now you're trying to take away all these rewards that I used to get. Your brain is very reward centered. So, especially when the things you do trigger the pleasure center of the brain, right? When you eat like sweets and things like that, a lot of processed carbohydrates, they trigger the pleasure centers in the brain. And folks, that's the same area of the brain that is triggered by sex, drugs, alcohol, all the things that bring massive pleasure. Food does the same thing. Food triggers the same area of the brain. So when you start to deprive your brain of the pleasures it used to get, the rewards it used to get, you are in big trouble. Because then your brain is going to push you. It's going to feed you all of these things that you used to do in the form of urges, in the form of cravings. It's going to ramp up those cravings big time to the point where you are going to try, but you are going to fail. Because this is your brain just feeding you all the things you used to do. It's going to keep feeding you all the things you used to do. And it's going to force you to do them whether you want to or not. Why? Because you haven't changed the programming. You haven't changed how those habits are wired in your brain. And believe me, there is a circuitry that is going on, right? There is a brain circuit. There's a neurological circuit that is created around each habit. And that is what most people don't understand. So they don't understand why when you go on a diet and you switch up from, eating whatever you want to now all of a sudden you're doing keto, or now all of a sudden you're doing paleo, or you're doing Weight Watchers, or you're doing whatever the diet is that you're doing clean eating, whatever the diet is that you're doing. The reason why you're going to fail is because you can't change up everything you do all at once. You have to do a little bit at a time so that you're training your brain to do something differently. Your brain is still getting the rewards that it used to get. By doing it slowly, one thing at a time, changing one habit at a time, it's much easier to reprogram your brain to focus on one habit. You can't ever program your brain to focus on 24 habits, 3 habits in a day. All the things you do in one day. You can't change them all at once. It will never work. You will always fail. You want to learn more about this? Like I said, these are the things I talk about in my videos. The top 3 things you must do to lose weight for the last time. Download get the videos. Go to my website, personalfitness.com. Click on the link at the top of the page. It will take you to the first one. You watch the first video, then you can download the free ebook that outlines all 3 that go along with it. You'll get a notification for the other 2 videos a couple days apart. I don't like to, I give you everything all at once, so it's overload. So every 2 days you'll get one of the videos. But watch the video, download the free ebook. And it's going to give you all the same strategies I use with my coaching clients, right? Just remember, you can't change up everything you do all at once. You will fail because your brain is working against you. And once your brain is working against you, you can never win. Why? Because biology beats willpower every single time. Your brain controls your biology. And that will win every single time. You can't change up what you're doing with willpower. You can't resist what the brain is going to push you to do because that is what you have programmed it to. You have programmed it to feed you all of these things that you are doing. You have programmed the brain to expect all the rewards that you were getting from the foods you're eating. All the little things you do throughout the day. You think about all the little things you do from the time you wake up in the morning till the time you go to bed. There's a lot of habits there. You've developed a lot of habits around those things that you do. And those habits are wired in your brain, right? And unless you go about the process of changing them one at a time, you will fail. So to win, you have to learn how to change each habit, how each habit is wired in the brain. You can't just focus on the physical act of eating. You need to focus on the emotions and the thoughts that are surrounding why you do the things you do, why you eat throughout the day, why you reach for the things you reach for throughout the day, why you go to Starbucks, why you eat in the cafeteria, or why you go to the lunchroom and choose something, why you come home and eat something when you're not hungry, all those different reasons why you eat. That is what you're going to have to focus on in order to create lasting change. Otherwise, your brain will eventually rebel and start to push you in the form of urges and cravings to do the things that you used to do, okay? So this is a brain-based process, and this is what I teach in my new coaching program, Weight Loss Made Easy, which you'll find out about if you sign up for the free videos. I want to educate you before you get involved with any of my coaching programs, right? You have to learn the foundation of what I teach, the philosophy and the principles that govern what I teach. And these are the central core principles around what I teach my clients. So before you can join me in any of my coaching programs, you need to learn the process, right? You need to reprogram your psyche around and get away from the old diet mentality, diet and exercise mentality. That never creates long-term results, okay? I talk to women every day. I know this for a fact because I talk to women every day who are struggling for decades because a lot of them who are 200-300 pounds, they've gotten down to 150 and then put the weight back on and are still now 250-300, okay? And I've heard that every single week. I talk to at least a couple of women who that has been the case for them. Why? Because this very reason, you can't change up what you're doing all at once. You need to learn how to work with your brain. You need to learn how to recruit your brain to change your biology, and that is the only way that you will achieve permanent results. Download the videos, watch the videos, download the ebook, and you will learn the principles, the top 3 things you must do to lose weight for the very last time, assuming that that's an issue for you and you don't want to be losing weight and regain it like it's your job. You want to do it once and get it over with. So the next time you do it, I want it to be the last time. And the way you're going to do that is by learning how to recruit your brain to change your biology. That is why you never change up everything you do all at once. It's a losing strategy. You're setting yourself up to fail, and you don't want to do that, okay? All right, my friends, that's all I've got for you today. And as I like to say, may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Catch you next time.